You're watching the Tesla Life. Patrick's not here right now, so you got us. The baby is going like shy or something.
Yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tesla Life number 285. Here we are, the 14th of December, 2022. Yeah, that zero emissions thing makes no sense with a child.
Well, it does say almost.
There it is. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Joining us, as always, we have Mr. Casey Green joining us from the East Coast. How are you today, sir?
Doing pretty well. It's a cold one out all across the continent.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Derek says he's second in the chat, but according to the proof, he's first. So,
well, there you go. Thought you were second and elevate to the gold position, just like that, Derek.
Yeah,
very good. So, welcome everyone to the show. Thanks for those in the early chat room, Derek, David, Jim, Debbie. Thanks for joining us. We've got a lot of news tonight. Not sure if Patrick is joining us. He was supposed to. We will see if he joins us partway into the show. But yeah, I guess we may as well get to it. And tonight's big story, of course, our lead story, which is someone's coming. Someone's blacked out currently. Camera's not working, or the lens cap is on. One of the
I had the lens cap going on.
Yeah, there you go. But maybe he's having difficulty connecting.
That would explain the tardiness. There he is.
Oh.
Hello.
There's Patrick joining us from the West Coast. How are you today, sir?
I'm good. I just got back from the dentist, so
that'll do it.
Just slurred and I'm drooling.
So Patrick is drooling. We'll know why.
Exactly. Yeah.
Blame it on the alcohol.
My face is not moving.
Just telling the audience about our lead story today, Patrick. The first story on our list, which of course is the holiday software update has been released. Last week we were talking about possibilities. And this week, we're talking about it being released just yesterday, as a matter of fact. Late day yesterday, we had a few people that were commenting on they were getting the release being sent at that time. And this, of course, is version 2022-44-25-1. And we've got a story here from Drive Tesla Canada that goes over with actually some pictures of the new applications that are coming across. And of course, as we talked about previously, Apple Music is at the top of the list. So we've got that ability now that you can click on a QR code that appears on the Tesla screen, and then you can log into your Apple account, and it can then start feeding you Apple Music's list of songs, or you can do all the normal things you do with Apple Music. So you can listen to stations, you can search songs, you can play them. So all of that is available to you. It'll be interesting to see if there's any integration with the skip song ability through the app. But that's just starting to be played around with. I'm waiting for my update. Haven't seen an update. How about you two? Have you seen an update yet? Okay.
Beta makes us late. I am hoping that it'll be fairly stable, given that it's been in the software for over a year now, just with no way to get into it. At least according to what Green saw.
I just got an update for my 2016 Model X, but it wasn't this one.
Was it the one that lets you join the beta with the 20? Oh no, yours is the AP one. Never mind.
Right. Yeah. Rub it in, Casey. Just rub
No. Because my sister-in-law just got hers, and it's it's hardware 3, but MCU 1, and so they let her join the beta with the safety score and all that. So we'll see how it goes. There's a lot of stuff and folks were complaining. They're like, "Oh, I didn't get this and that. How could you?" Blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Welcome to legacy life."
Yeah,
the ones that have a valid complaint are the ones who have a refreshed Model S or X and are excluded from some of the features because their car is too old. Luckily, Elon says that there will be a retrofit. He did not give any further details as to if it's a mobile service visit, if it's free or paid, or what. But I think you have a case against them if they try to charge you for it, since they said your car could play all these games, and it can't unless it was built after February of 22.
Well, speaking of that, Steam has been released for certain vehicles.
I was getting into that.
So you've got that separation between older and newer cars. So the Model S and X refresh versions have that ability to use the Steam platform. We heard about this the other week when there was some code looking for how you were logging in to Steam, looking for if you were coming in with a Tesla or not. So that had led us to the thought that Steam would be included. And yes, it has been added. The features available on S and X year 2022 plus with 16 gigabyte of DDR memory, and requires, of course, the premium connectivity to use the connection.
Storage device inside the MCU. So some folks are saying that they have it with a 128, but I'm wondering if 128 is all exposed to Steam because the car does use all of that for itself. To the point where this isn't one of our stories. Tesla is now selling a 1 terabyte SSD for a substantial premium. Sales don't open until February, but it's like $350 for a 1 terabyte SSD that they claim is automotive grade and faster in some way. We'll see once people actually start getting their hands on this thing. A lot of folks have suggested just stick with the existing NVMe SSDs over USB Type-C that you can get already.
Yeah. So we'll be they're advertising, of course, hundreds, if not 1,000 plus games that can be streamed over that platform. So that's going to be interesting to see how those operate, and I'm sure the videos are about to start. So we'll keep an eye out on that. But who's got the dog? Is that you, Patrick?
Yeah, I'm not sure what she's working at. Yeah, I keep muting.
Wants to tell you about dog mode updates.
I think she's
which is the next thing. So dog mode has been updated to allow the internal camera from your mobile app to view the dog in either dog mode or sentry mode. So you've now got that option. Remember, we were talking about having the ability to pull your app up and see the multiple cameras, the 4 cameras. Well, I guess now they've included the internal cabin camera as well. So that's been a change that has come across in all of the update. We've got some additional media controls, which allows the driver for easy access. So the swiping to access recent favorites and sources with a swipe left or right are now back. So the cards that we used to see where the 3 little dots were, and you could swipe back and forth based on the dots, knowing that there was more there, that has shown up. I'm hoping, and I believe I've seen a picture already, but I'm not quite sure, that the PSIs of the tires are on the card swipe now.
The wipers. And the guy I saw that was showing them said that they are better than they used to be. So this is somebody who had experienced cars before and saying now that they're back, they're even better than they used to be.
Good.
Well, I mean, that last part, about them better than they used to be is objective.
To that guy that replied, yes.
His opinion. I can't tell you. I've used the old cards, but I haven't used the new cards.
Next, of course, is the Wi-Fi garage opener.
Yes.
So that has been something that's been promised for a couple of years now, and it makes its way over in the holiday update. So if you've got one of those new fangled garage door openers with the MyQ connection, you'll now be able to program it with the Tesla vehicle as well.
And with that, there have been users who discovered the pricing list for Chamberlain. to how much they charge. If you buy 10 years up front, it's actually somewhat affordable. It sounds like a lot of money, but all of the subscription options are cheaper than the hardware for the HomeLink. So unless your car came with a HomeLink module, like older Model S's and X's or the initial batch of Model 3s,
Mine.
Yep, exactly. You will save a significant amount of money, even spending the $200 for 10 years, $200-ish. I think it's like actually over two. I think it's like $250. But we're looking at $350 plus for the labor and mailing and to get the guy out to put in your car, unless you get a used one and retrofit it somehow yourself. But that's advanced work right there.
Yep.
Also, if you do order it from Tesla, the HomeLink kit, don't open the box when they mail it to you, because then the technician will still not put it in, and you've wasted $350.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's Tesla.
That's kind of weird.
It is, but they warn you. They don't open the box.
Okay. Next, fan speed been updated so that we've got now a low, medium, and high setting.
Yes.
Previously, of course, it was a numbered system that you would just slide the slide bar. Kind of difficult to use when you're driving, I've noticed, when you're trying to get a certain speed of the fan speed. So maybe now with 3 settings, it'll be a little easier.
Well,
when you're driving.
this is for when you're in auto mode, which when I was selling cars would have been handy on everybody else's cars, because you had all these people who understood they wanted a temperature, but then they just broke it by setting the fan speed manually, because either the fan speed was too low or too high, and it just annoyed them or blew in their face or whatever. And so now they're complaining that the air doesn't work the way it should, because it's not going to the set point because they've kneecapped it. So what this does is it sets that auto speed so that if you want it faster, you can have it blowing faster. And if you don't like it blowing wind in your face and you don't feel like moving the vents, it will just take a little longer to get the set speed, but it'll still be able to actually fully reach it because it's still in auto mode.
Does that mean the fan speeds don't go to 11 anymore?
Not in auto, but I'm sure if you take it out of auto and set it to manual, you probably still get it to go to 11. On the cars with numbers, some of them just have a graph that goes up.
And a new feature that I am sure will annoy many people driving in the car that aren't expecting it, because someone with access to the app has decided to turn on emissions mode remotely to someone that's driving in the car. And of course, the fart noises and jokes will persist as you're going down the road, not realizing that it's been turned on.
Exterior or interior? Or both?
Interior.
Interior.
This is going to cause a couple divorces.
It would have been awesome if somebody could just like make your car fart while you're rolling down the road.
Well, they stopped that after, right? The
farts are included with the noisemaker?
Yeah.
Oh, those buggers.
Yeah. That was just unsafe, I guess, for some reason.
Because they said so.
Another addition. I'm sorry, Patrick.
I said farts, unsafe at any speed.
Right. Any speed.
But at the same time, I mean, if you don't let that pressure out, I mean, that could be a calamity.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, we're going down a road we don't want to be on. Next, of course, is we got notification of this possibility a few weeks ago, and this is the Zoom meetings. That has appeared now with its own little blue and white icon that is available. And for those that didn't get the Steam integration because they don't have the newer cars, you get a Mahjong game, which is new, added to the mix.
But on the Zoom, that's also some cars, and you have to have the camera installed. I think that's true. It would be awesome to make it work with the microphone, and then not everybody does their Zoom meetings with the camera turned on.
And we've yet to see that if you can continue the Zoom meeting if you start to drive, if it just switches to audio only.
And if they do that, then there's absolutely no reason that the cars without camera shouldn't be able to do it.
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, another popular one from the world of Mario is Rainbow Road. Has been added to the ability that you can turn it on in autopilot.
Without the music.
And you can, without the music, and you can have a Rainbow Road follow your car at all times.
Yes.
Proceeding and following the car. So
you do have to have auto steer turned on. but it's all the time. You don't have to be in the Easter egg mode.
That's right.
That's cool.
You got my
Next,
favorite.
We've got some auto turn signals.
Oh, that one. No, the other one's my favorite.
Ah, okay. So I was wondering, this turn signal can automatically deactivate upon completing your lane change, fork, or merge. So it's looking at the car's actions through the cameras, and then based on the turn signal you have on, we'll turn them off.
The 3 and Y.
Not a
SNX
huge deal.
already did that.
I guess we do see people on the roads occasionally that drive with their turn signals on for mile after mile. That does happen, but not everybody owns a Tesla either, so it's not necessarily going to solve the problem.
I wonder if this will work for the times that that FSD forgets to turn off the turn signals. I found that sometimes FSD will turn on the signal and I'm just driving down the road like one of them people that with the lights just on. But again, SNX refresh had this from pretty early on, so this is just for Model 3 and Y with hardware 3 equipment. Yeah. Okay, and one for all the vehicles. Is this your favorite, Casey? The contact lookup. Oh no, the one before the turn signals. So you can now schedule the light show. So if you wanted to have your cars do a dance off at a club meeting, you can say, all right, we're gonna have it happen in 5 or 10 minutes, because you can have it happen at up to 10 minutes. And so you can say, everybody at 3:15, have your car set to do the dance, and then walk away, close it, get it ready to go, and then the car will start doing the dance en masse, which is really cool. It looked just like when they first showed it to us with 3 Model X's that were doing the Model Xmas, and it was really cool. And then nobody was ever able to do it again, even if they were perfectly synced with the push into lock on the fob. Now it is, which is, only what Model X came out in 2016, only 4 years late. And another item besides the contact lookup is Bluetooth gaming controllers. Yes. So they've added some ability to use Bluetooth controllers in the arcade mode. And to pair the controller, you open the Bluetooth panel, follow the instructions on screen. And it works best, apparently, with PS5 controllers. So that is now available to you. That's something I might take advantage of. I've never gotten a controller, but that is something that might be of interest. That's only on SNX refresh with the right level of hardware as well. Okay. So that's another reason you might be complaining if you bought an early refresh Model S or X. The contact lookup, they weren't clear on what's actually different about that. We've had that before. It really did suck. So maybe that's because they made it better. And then another one that annoys the mess out of me. Go ahead. If you happen to own a Model Y, that is a performance version, you now will have access to truck mode, just like the Model 3s do. So that's an addition that Model Y owners have been asking for quite some time. So yes. Every time they asked, I would say, what about the expensive performance models? And get no response except for annoyance at the Model Y performance people. I'm like, wait a minute, these people paid up to double of what you paid for a performance car. I think they also deserve track mode. And apparently Tesla agreed with the indignant proles. You don't need it. Yeah, but tell us how you feel, Casey. We're not sure about how you're feeling about this whole thing. Legacy mode, yeah. Legacy mode. They're like, oh, you get ludicrous mode. Like, well, if I want ludicrous mode and track mode. It's called performance, is it not? Don't give it to the Y. Like when it was exclusive to the Model 3, it's like, oh, well, it's nimble, it's small, it's blah, blah, blah. But the Model Y is a chunker, very much like the Model X. And it's a raspberry. It's just like she was showing earlier. And we've got some other miscellaneous ones. We're not going to go through the entire list. We're pretty well through the major stuff, though, at this point. So one minor but big one is the confirm call transfer. If you're on a call, previously it would just automatically transfer. Now it only transfers if you're in the driver's seat with the door shut. But now, if you're already on a call, then you make that true. Instead of snatching your phone call, it'll say, hey, we see you're on a call. Would you like to move it to the car? So, if you're on a phone call talking about firing an employee and they're in the car with you, and it doesn't automatically transfer over, or maybe surprising your spouse or children with a gift. or maybe you're a cheater. Either way, none of that's going to be exposed just because you sat in the car and closed the door.
It doesn't even have to be something horrible. It could just be annoying.
This is true too. Like some people don't like it when you have a speakerphone conversation and they have no reason to be on it.
Right. I was here at home and I'm on a work call, and then my wife pulled into the garage, and then when she did, boom, the call jumped to the car, and I'm like, where'd my call go?
That's another good point. Yeah, it might not even be your call.
Right. Yes. And so that was kind of annoying. So I had to like get on my phone and pull it back.
Turn off Bluetooth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Surprise.
Right. Yeah.
Your wife is now controlling this meeting.
Yeah.
Hopefully she studied her notes.
Hopefully she was like, "What are you idiots doing in my car?" You know,
right.
Everybody, I'm like, we're colleagues. You know?
Who are you people? Hijack my phone in my car.
Right. So this is a needed feature, even for all the cases, the case you mentioned, but others too.
Completely innocent reasons like that. Yeah.
Other less fantastic reasons. Yes. Interesting story that has come to us about Tesla in court. So FSD, Casey, you're about to lose your tongue. Just thought I'd let you know. So
I'm not the only one getting dental work done
today. This story is about Tesla defending itself against a group of owners that have sued for the fact that FSD has not lived up to its promise. And Tesla is responding back that just because the version of FSD is not complete now, it's not that it's not been it's not that they're lying about anything. What it's telling you is that they are working their way through the timer of getting the package up and running properly for customers to take hold of. So they have indicated, of course, in the literature that people bought the car about FSD is going through a build process and that customers will receive it once it has been completed. So this group has got out in front of this saying, hey, it's never coming out. We haven't got what we paid for. And Tesla's arguing back, listen, you signed up for this. You understood it was in development and you understood you would get it when it was completed. So that's what they're arguing for in court. So I think it's a pretty clear-cut case when it comes to this because the consumer agreed to the terms when they purchased the vehicle. So I can't really see them having too much of a leg to stand on here unless Tesla changes something in the future.
The closest they got so far to that is where Elon is like, oh, real soon, they were close, I know it, I can feel it in my bones. And then the other 2-3 incidents where he said, oh yeah, we're going to do a demonstration drive by the end of the year, and then didn't. But the demonstration drive doesn't really affect what your car can do. So
yeah, those are all forward-looking statements. This is a problem that's not solved. It's difficult. And my estimate is this can't even really be done to the level where you could take a nap in the car until 2027. So
I'm hoping 2025.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to have a poll on it. But if you just look at, it's a long tail problem, and so you can handle a few of the corner cases every year, but there are thousands of them, and you don't know which ones you don't have right until you've got the other ones that were masking the next layer out of the way. And it's improving all the time, so they will get there. But it's just it's a long tail problem.
I was going to make a poll
have it be very reliable
in the YouTube chat, but I'm not the owner of the channel, so it won't let me. However, if you don't already follow the Tesla Live Show on Twitter, how about you follow it there? And if Mark remembers, he'll make a poll to see when you think FSD will be
released to everybody.
So the Texas level,
no longer in beta. I want it into I can crawl
in beta
and take a nap. When does it hit that mode? That's when it's true FSD.
Yeah.
David in the chat room's got a good point. He's saying at year 5, the promise is getting a little old.
That too. And then he also said if it was transferable, he'd be more Tesla sympathetic. And I love that idea, but Elon seems to think it's stupid, just like waypoints. But maybe we'll wear him down just like them.
I can understand that if you had a 2-year lease and you paid for this, then you never got it and you turn your car back in.
Yeah.
And the argument is, well, your car trading is worth more because it has that feature, so you kind of get it back. But
right, but you can't really. They won't really break it out as proof that they gave you more for it. And
exactly.
And other dealers,
actually on a 2 or 3 year lease, the court may be sympathetic to that. Yeah,
absolutely. And if you have a car that you aren't barred from trading into a dealership that's not Tesla, they also might not value it at any reasonable price because they can't really sell it to a customer. Hey, there's this promise that comes with the car. Enjoy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
On a related note, Tesla was sued about FSD in another court because this guy wanted to use the FSD beta subscription, and they said, "All right, give us $1,000 for the hardware," and so he took him to small claims court, and Tesla didn't show up, so he won.
Right.
So they owe him a computer, and they can't appeal because they didn't show up.
Right. Well, it's small claims. I don't think there's an appeal process in small claims anyway.
There's probably that too, but even if there were, they can't appeal because they didn't show. So
and Casey's got a point that this may be possibly some precedent-setting abilities for others that could point to this. Although with Tesla not showing up at all, I'm not sure.
It's a little harder to prove that one.
Works. Yeah.
But you can say they lost, and if your judge or lawyer is sympathetic and they can work it through. And you're on a subscription and you have hardware 2.5 or 2.0, I mean, it's scummy, but it's worth a try because they've always said from when subscriptions became available, because subscriptions weren't available when they promised free upgrades. And then when they made subscriptions, they said, all right, free upgrades will continue for people who paid up front. And they said immediately when they said subscriptions are available, if you don't qualify, you don't get it. So this is why I think that unless they look at this other one as precedent, Tesla's still got their backs covered for this, so it's worth a try, but don't get your hopes up that if that's you and you want a free $1,000 computer.
I don't know. Is it worth it for $1,000? I mean, if you want it, pay for it,
time off work,
enjoy it, and if you don't. I mean, it's kind of silly to even think, oh, I could get this for free. How many thousands did you spend in your car? You want to over $1,000 and go through all that process?
I mean, I get that it doesn't feel good, but this is in line with what they promised. Now, if you had a 2017 with the full FSD package and they didn't want to give you your upgrade and they didn't want to give you your cameras, sue the pants off of them. But that's not what they're doing. They're dragging their feet on cameras, and they are giving you the hardware for the FSD. And as I said, my sister-in-law, she got her invite to get her hardware 3 MCU1 car invited into the beta. So they're clearly, even if slowly, doing what's right.
Very good. Next story is about Canada, my home country. Yeah. Tesla was invited to appear in front of the 2023 Canada's budget consultation period. With the budget coming for Canada in 2023, the federal government does invite industry leaders in subjects that they have interest in to learn more about perspective, where things are going, to poll basically the industry as to how to improve things. And of course, EV adoption in Canada is a big item that the government wants to happen. And with that, they invited Tesla to join them and talk a little bit about the EV structure that they see, what options and changes they would make ideally to have vehicles be adopted in a quicker fashion. And Tesla focused basically on 3 things. They looked at a demand policy, addressing the perceptions and the barriers of purchasing a vehicle, as well as the next look they looked at was the infrastructure policy. This, of course, involves charging and how these vehicles are going to charge. and the different aspects of charging that are available to the Canadian public. And finally, they looked at a supply policy. So they kind of encompassed, as EVs start to be adopted more and more, you're going to require more of them. Everyone can see this is happening, and Tesla is looking at the different pieces that go into supplying EVs to any country. So right from minerals to production to sales of those vehicles. So it was kind of interesting to see their perspective. Not a lot of surprises in this report, but unlike some other countries, I'm glad to see that at least Canada looked at one of the industry leaders and asked their opinion on what's been going on in the EV world at this point and how Canada could do better. So it was interesting to see their perspective. Again, not a big surprise, but glad to see it was expressed and taken in by the politicians.
This is the same meeting where everybody was coming out with stories about Tesla lobbies Canada for TeslaSemi infrastructure, right?
Right.
Okay, but it wasn't just the semi.
No, it was infrastructure as a whole.
All
so,
EVs.
Yeah.
I think that's better.
Yeah, because Tesla's not the only game in town. They are about 2/3, but it's certainly there are going to be others involved. And as far as I'm concerned, any EV that serves an individual well is a good EV in my mind. So
yes,
we shall see as time goes along. Next,
that's the name and after a soldier. Being assaulted with a ring.
Right. Now, Patrick, I don't know if you saw this information because it kind of overlaps between you and Casey's discipline about the gigafactories.
Yes.
So this story was about a top executive from Giga Shanghai being brought to Giga Texas.
Yes. To show you guys the ropes.
Right. We talked about this. We knew it was coming because Mark, you made the gung ho reference.
Right.
Yes. Yep. And so now it's happening. And
of course, some news outlets jumped the gun and indicated that this top exec coming from Shanghai was actually taking Elon's position in the company.
And some of them were
rumors go a little crazy.
They said he was going to be the new Gwen Shotwell, but for Tesla. And I think that's also saying a bit jumping the gun there.
Yeah. So this exec is going to be taking over to try to speed the ramp at Giga Texas. And obviously, he's had some experience in Shanghai's ramp. So
this is changed his title, or is he just there as an advisor? Like, is he to show them the road to go back home?
It's unsure. Because he did bring over some of his trusted people with him. There's no indication as to how long it's been. There's not even an indication if he's keeping his same position at Shanghai while he's doing this in Texas, or if it's going to be more permanent. I think Tesla doesn't know because I think they want to see how it ramps. And if it's ramping well, you know what? They'll move mountains to keep it going that way.
We brought your family. Stay.
Well, they may have to do something completely different.
Right. Well, hopefully, I'm thinking this, and probably Tesla's thinking this too. He shows up and then he makes it, with this bigger, better factory, he makes it happen even better than he did in Shanghai. He and his team that they brought over with him, obviously.
Right, and Shanghai is definitely their crown jewel. It's really working well, and so there's a lot of lessons they can teach the Austin team for sure. Yeah. So it'll be nice to help Austin get ramped up.
David says Texan workers may be a little more interesting to manage. This is true.
Right. The culture clash is exactly why we referenced the other movie. There's definitely different cultures.
Definitely. As Michael Keaton well knows. But next, this, of course, is about the other Gigafactory, Berlin. There was a few stories this week about Berlin, and I'll just combine them here in this one segment. But first of all, Tesla has been approved. Its expansion wants by the local government. So they've been granted the ability to expand the factory itself. There's a couple of different projects that are underway. Another thing that was kind of interesting was that Tesla requested to the local government as well that they wanted to do their own search for groundwater. So that's something different. We know that Giga Berlin was there was a battle over groundwater from the locals, wanting them to only take a certain amount of groundwater, no matter what their size was. And Tesla, of course, came in under the amount that they wanted them to adhere to. So that made, of course, the locals happy that they were taking even less water. But now it seems that with their expansion, they're going to need some more water. So Tesla wants to do their own searching to see if they can come up with another source of water that's close to or on the actual premises. So that's something that they've requested to start looking for. And it's unclear, like someone with the resources of Tesla, they're certainly going to be able to bring in a lot of experts looking for groundwater. And of course, they're not going to, the local town won't want them tapping into the existing aqueduct or whatever they're using. They'll want them to find some new sources, most likely. So we'll have to see if that.
I wonder if Germany will freak out like some of the places in the U.S. if you try to capture the rainwater that hits in your roof.
Yeah, they have enough square footage that they could probably collect quite a bit of rainwater.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are some places where that rainwater is expected to run off and flow into the local streams and rivers, and so they don't want you capturing all that.
Yeah. And then another story that was coming out this week for the factory in Berlin as well was that the third shift that we talked about a few months ago that was scheduled to start, it's now confirmed that it will be starting. So it has started. It's about to get rolling. So obviously the ramp up at Giga Berlin continues now with a third. And of course, this would be basically a 24-hour operation once you have the third shift in place, because each shift is 8 hours. So that would be 24 hours.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Ramp continues. Next story. Casey's got this one about a new group of homes in Las Vegas and their unique ability.
Yes, they have one of Patrick's favorite subjects. They have home energy storage via Powerwall. So this is a planned development that comes with not Tesla solar, but not Tesla solar roof, but Tesla solar panels and Powerwalls, and for some reason ChargePoint EVSEs instead of the Tesla J1772 EVSEs, which are cheaper and probably more robust, but they don't have the RFID cards. But they also will lock out non-approved Teslas if you set them up to do so. So, same difference. Anyway, this is pretty cool because it's been proven time and again as these type of projects roll out, either with the solar roof or just the Powerwall or the virtual power plant, that it gets people off on the right foot as far as energy conservation, making their own energy at home, minimizing their footprint. And this is what we want to see, electrifying all the things. And
that's right. And building a future free from fossil fuels. It's hard to say with the numbed up face.
In his lip.
This is really cool.
Yeah.
I just saw the stats here, and it says solar panels, Tesla Powerwalls, and 2 EV charging stations. That sounds a lot like my house.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is out of Austin. It's 12,000 homes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, this particular one in Vegas is a smaller amount, right? It's
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Last one
yeah.
they
do talk about 2 of them in this.
Yeah. Austin's the bigger one that started.
This one in Vegas is just 51 homes, which is still
right.
substantial, but it's not 12,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope they take this to the next step and say, okay, no 2-stroke engines. You can't have gas-powered lawn mowers or leaf blowers. Those have to be electric.
Put a little battery charging rack next to the car charger for your lawnmower and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Outside of that, Patrick, I don't think you can regulate that. You could maybe sign a
homeowners associations.
Yes,
HOAs have a lot of power, surprising a lot. Yeah.
But what I would like
that when you move in.
what I would like to see more than that would be just starting to increase the power collected, like 25%, 50% more solar. I'd like to see the ability that maybe this group of homes would have an introduction to electric cars. Everyone's now got 2 chargers in their garage. Maybe they need some sort of education for people that move in to talk about those electrified gardening items, as Patrick has mentioned, to talk about electric cars, to talk about how their home actually allows them to participate in a couple of unique things that most people can't. Doubling the power walls is another option. And of course, getting the auto bidder installed into all these homes, allowing the whole community to participate in money they could get back. So there's many different steps here that and again, I applaud the starting of it. I just like to see more running forward with this. Being a net zero community, I'd like to be able to say they're a net positive community. That's the next step, right?
Right. Yeah, you bring up a good point, because some of you guys know that I rent a home out of South Carolina, and it's solar, and it's got the EVSE. It doesn't have battery backup because I left before that could get done, and none of my tenants have actually driven an electric car. So since the system is designed to be net zero with an electric car, they've actually been net positive, but they could have even more benefit if they would make their own fuel at home. So it's a bit like the corporate Chevy Volts that were running around, never plugged in, but with a slightly more benefit in that it's not burning gas all the time. Now it's also just dumping that extra in the grid as a battery and just never pulling it back out. Yeah,
and as Casey and I both know, that once someone gets started with an electric vehicle, Patrick knows this as well, it's something that grows with you. I would say that more than 99% of people that get involved with an electric vehicle, based on our club membership here in Ontario, nobody switches back.
The only people I've seen switch back had either picked the wrong car or their job changes such that they just can't do it with today's technology, like just ultra commuters. Right. But that's about it.
Yeah. So,
and we're talking like one person out of like 10,000 that we all know.
But that's great. The Las Vegas community is showing where we want to go, and of course we need more and more of these communities to pop up, because of course the expense of buying the house, probably your most expensive thing you're ever going to do in your life, having the ability to put the solar, to put the battery backup in the house at the start of it, added it to your mortgage, it makes a whole lot of sense. It's a small amount of money.
But the homeowner,
that's going to benefit the homeowner for the length of the mortgage that they own that house.
And not only that, but because the developer is doing dozens of these in one swath, they can get volume discounts on the installation. Exactly, and depending on who your vendors are, they could get a volume discount from the vendor as well. And for these guys, we partnered with an installer called it starts with the R.
And just doing the installation as you're building the home, when you can run the conduits without tearing out drywall, and retrofits are so much more difficult than building it that way from the beginning.
Right.
Yeah, the planning, absolutely.
Yeah.
Next, we've got some sustainability coming from Giga Texas. We had heard recently over the past 2 quarters that Tesla's been having some difficulty in actually having the fleet of trucks to move the cars onto market after they're being produced, because Tesla is now producing so many vehicles in the United States that they're taxing all the available car carriers at the end of the quarter to move these vehicles. So Tesla has the option in Texas, about 40 miles away. There's a community that has a railhead that ends there, and Tesla's been using this area with 2 tracks that sat into that rail yard, and they've seen the volumes increase and realized that rail can work for them in certain configurations. So they've decided to go ahead and triple the size of the rail yard. So they've added another 4 spur lines into this rail yard that will now give them access to 6 train yard, trains themselves, right? The car carriers are rolled onto these side tracks. There are multiple of them in the road. The ramps are
Yeah.
down, so you just drive the car onto the ramp and drive to the end of the train, park it, and then the next car comes in behind it. Two levels of them. But it's going to give them more capacity to ship things by rail, ship cars by rail. And of course, they've obviously had success of it if they're tripling up the resources they have there.
Yeah,
and I guess they're counting on that team from Shanghai really ramping things up quickly in Austin.
Right. So my car took a train tour of Alabama during Hurricane Flo and Florence, and shortly after that, the Fremont team kind of dismantled the railhead at Fremont, and they were saying that they had a bad experience with the rails. It was easier just to do trucks, and then here at Shanghai, or not Shanghai, but here at Austin and at Giga Berlin, here they are really leaning into trains. Did they perhaps have a better experience with some folks that know how to work a train in Germany, or did they get favorable rates now that they're not piecemealing the cars out? Because, hey, we can buy 4 whole trains every week. Let's go. Don't put us at the back of the line ever again, or we're going to cancel your contract.
Yeah.
I
gotta believe that as volumes increase and they can start to commandeer multiple trains, then their order goes up in the pecking order when it comes to availability and when those shipments are actually going to take place. So
I didn't even got to make those threads.
Like anything, volume counts and allows you to get better discounts and better service typically.
A little bit of put up
money talks.
Exactly.
Will a CyberTruck fit in one of these train cars?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, because you can fit like Land Rovers and stuff on there, like really large vehicles. So
okay,
as long as it's road legal.
Speaking of CyberTruck, Casey's got our next story about the CyberTruck.
I do.
And he's got a photo to share with us.
I do. So the folks over at what's she calling herself this week?
In Java.
Right. Found not found, but we're given a photo from somebody who Sandy Monroe said has probably lost their job. He's probably right as well. Here we can see up above this vehicle, you can see it says powder coat, and then we can see that the front half of this is literally powder coated, like it even onto the rails back here. And Sandy was trying to figure out how many pieces this is, if it was all one piece or if it was 2 pieces or 6 pieces. We know that this wasn't made at Giga Texas because the pieces for the IntraPress have just arrived. At least 3 large multi-ton units of them have arrived because they showed up on these roller trucks that look like the ones that move the rockets around, just to displace enough weight over enough axles and tires that they didn't destroy the road underneath it. And they pulled them up to the side of the factory where the IntraPress is supposed to go, and it looked like they were about to remove a wall to get them in there. And this goes along with reporting that the foundation for the building that these equipment are going to sit on has been completed. So, but this showed up before that. So we're wondering if this was a 3D print or a one-off. Like these companies, like Elon keeps saying, prototypes are easy. So they could have had any number of firms make one and make it be dimensionally and everything correct, that they could practice running it down the line, painting it, putting the shell on the outside, that sort of thing. And this is all we really know about it, because that's what she got. She got a picture, she put it in her video, and then we got a bunch of other folks reminding Tesla employees that
taking pictures may allow you to lose your job quickly.
Right. And then they asked other leakers to be more responsible with how they handle them, because if you do them correctly, it doesn't expose your sources. But apparently, they felt that this told them exactly who took the picture, and now this person is gone. Yeah. But
interesting as we get closer and closer to those gigapresses being installed, and of course the not the actual production, but the practicing of the prototyping of the line and getting things up and running is it's good to see something happening towards the CyberTruck. We've been waiting so long. So many people have been waiting, and this is this is some progress. So always
Yeah.
good to see.
And Sandy was curious about how much of it appears to be pressed, like all the way up to the sails, or what do they call them, the buttresses. They've got all the way up to there, and then obviously the stressed skin will go on the outside of that. And then something that concerned a bunch of us was Elon had promised a way to get at least air, but probably also hopefully people from inside the cab to inside the vault, which is what they call the closed covered bed when it's in that mode. We call it the vault. Well, Tesla does, and we call it that because they do. It doesn't appear that this one has that, so it's either really early or even though he said they couldn't make it happen, and so they didn't. Time will tell.
Or it could be that the exact model is not even required for what they're testing for.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
If
this is made of plastic, you might need extra rigidity than you would if it was made out of the real steel.
Right.
Yeah.
So this certainly could be that it's not the perfect one. It's not the one that they're actually going to produce. This is just maybe lining up the how it fits in the assembly line they're looking to create. Who knows?
Yeah, because it's easier to run this through the factory than it is to just go through and tape out and make sure that your tape is constantly the right width. Than to do that. Plus, you can, like I said, practice putting the shell on and everything.
Yeah.
Derek points out that tanks fit onto those trains, and that he's asking if this was like a pass through, but one that a human could not have to get out of the vault and walk around the truck to deal with. Like literally, you could go from one to the other. So if you were, say, street camping, you could roll back to the steering wheel and deal with things that can be dealt with.
Drive away quickly without being ticketed.
Exactly. Well, ticketed, yes, but more like robbers.
Yeah. Keep the doors locked while you move your way to the driver's seat.
Exactly. Versus getting out, being exposed to them, then having to open your door, then get back in, buckle up, start the car. Well, not that you'd be buckling in that case, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Next story. This kind of relates to what we were talking about earlier. Patrick, you know about this. This is about the Texas approving Tesla's ability to run a virtual power plant. So this is a big plus that Tesla has been asking for a while. We know that Tesla has produced a couple of battery locations in Texas that have been helping support the grid. And at that time, they had applied for a number of powers, including this ability to use their auto bidder and run a virtual power plant. And in Texas, it was probably, once they accepted this ability, this is going to be a big move for Tesla. We talked about just a moment ago about the thousands of homes that are being put in with Powerwalls in the Austin area. This is the ability to run those groups as a single power plant, all those homes, and to be able to distribute the power to the grid when it's required, and to get paid for it when the grid is fluctuating back and forth as to supply and demand. So just like Patrick's house does currently with his power company.
Yeah. Another cool thing about a distributed power plant is in another case like Texas, is you're not just shoring up, from your single point. Like say the grid is broken at your single point. Now you're all of your houses are participating, all the ones that aren't broken, and so you can still say, hey, here's 75%, and it could avert a crisis.
Yes, yeah, this is a great idea. I'm glad that Texas finally approved whatever paperwork was needed to make this happen, because especially Texas, they've had problems with their grid. If they can now have these batteries on demand, snap their fingers and say, we want some more power, then that's great. That can help keep the lights on. That can help keep people from freezing in the winter. It's all good stuff.
Yep. So again, with more and more of these homes coming online, as we talked about the story earlier in Las Vegas, more and more companies wanting to participate in this. It's going to become a huge thing. It's going to allow us all to benefit from a decentralized grid. Whereas today, we're really stuck with, sure, the grid's connected to other grids, but it's not as robust as it can be. There are multiple single points of failure, whereas if you start outfitting all the different homes that they can help supply their own neighborhoods and then their own regions beyond that, it just becomes more robust and more reliable. And of course, the ability for the actual rate holders to participate in getting paid for when power is required and their home can supply it, that's just it's a win for everybody. Less power plants have to be built, and the system is much more robust. It's a win for everybody.
Absolutely.
Got a fun one.
Next, Casey's got a story about the semi, and they seem to be multiplying. If you leave 2 semis in a parking lot overnight, something happens.
You get a CyberTruck the next day.
No, not CyberTruck. That'd be really awesome. So over at the Pepsi distribution center, we already saw that the Frito-Lay distribution center had themselves a mega charger, TeslaSemi, V4 station, whatever we want to call these things right now. Some folks went back and did some searching because it appeared that a semi charger just showed up overnight, but we see that it was under construction for a little while here. But as you can see from this spy shot taken by another trucker from a fossil truck, we can see 2 Pepsi trucks, not just the one Pepsi truck and the one Frito-Lay truck. And the reason that they're wondering why it took them so long to find this mega charger is because it is behind the secure gate at the Pepsi facility. So it's a little harder for the drone army to just kind of get in there if they don't know to fly the drone there in the first place.
Yeah, so there may be some additional deliveries happening after the first delivery. We've seen a number of photos of the Frito-Lay truck out doing things like being in a Santa Claus parade and hooking up at the Modesto, California plant. But this is in Sacramento, apparently. This Pepsi depot, and we've got a couple of decked out Pepsi trucks. So I wonder if Pepsi. They had an order of over 100, I believe.
Yes.
Their initial order, or their added on order. So it'll be interesting to see if Pepsi's going to be receiving, a dozen trucks or so as time goes along.
I'm also curious with FedEx's large order, if any of them are going to be the FedEx Custom Critical Truck, which if you aren't familiar with it, you may have seen it running down the road if you drive any major east, west, or north, south routes. It's a regular semi truck, but then it's got a really large sleeper cab, like an RV basically built onto it. And then it's got a 30-foot box built onto it as well. So it looks a little bit like a Class 6 truck, but it's really a full-on Class 8 semi-truck. And like it's got room for 3 drivers to just rotate so the thing doesn't stop in 32 hours. We're not sure what they do, like maybe...
well, that's mission critical shipments, right?
Right, exactly.
It's stuff that has to get there. And they probably state to state most likely, but of course, at a certain distance, I've got to believe it would be better to fly it. But there are some sensitive materials that can't be flown too.
Right,
so this could be something that they don't want flown. Yeah.
Right. But I wonder if any of the FedEx trucks will be modified to do that, or if they'll wait until the sleeper cab comes out and then modify that one.
I think they're probably going to wait because they need the charging infrastructure to go those long distances.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, unless they put it on all the FedEx airports, which they could do.
We know a semi-truck here for Pepsi and Frito-Lay that they're actually installing them at the distribution points. Yeah. So Pepsi and Frito-Lay will have the ability that when they complete their deliveries, they'll be able to move over to the distribution area and plug in. So that's going to be a quick and easy thing for them. I was wondering how we would get some news of some new deliveries of the semi-truck to other people. Didn't even think that we would get some news this quickly that Pepsi's got a 3rd truck. They could even have more. We don't know.
It could be to different customers. That way they could get the different load profiles and different use cases rather than more of the same customer, which still gives them a lot of data. But if Pepsi and Walmart and some of the other like DHL, everybody that ordered this thing, like each of them is going to use it differently. So that would help you out with each revision of your hardware versus more Pepsi.
Well, as you said, the drone army is going to have their work cut out for them because when these mega chargers are being installed on someone's personal property behind gates, they're going to have to work a lot harder to find these new installations and companies that are getting involved with this.
They will. So Derek is asking, is the Semi wrapped? Yes, it is. It's being wrapped, and I think paint would be cool, but wrapping is faster. And
it had that matte tone to it that usually is what you get when you wrap, but I couldn't tell just from the photos. It looked wrapped, but I would be guessing.
You can paint it that way, but it's extra cost to get it right. And Tesla isn't known for getting their paint right the first time, so I would
I gotta believe for speed of delivery and cost. Wrap's going to be the thing going forward for everybody. Like there's so many wraps now that even simulate paint. You know, you've got the mattes, you've got the semi glosses, you've got the glossy finishes. Man, there are a million different combos out there that you can wrap your vehicle in. So, and I'm sure, of course, Pepsi getting multiple different vehicles. They're working all the time with adding new fleet vehicles and taking ones out of service. So it just makes sense that the wrap.
Plus, when you take them out of service, you just peel the wrap off. You don't got to get it resprayed or anything.
You don't have to worry about someone driving with your partially blacked out logo or whatever. It's you just peel off the wrap. It makes it a lot simpler.
Derek also asked about a bathroom. I'm sure they could put a cassette toilet in all that extra space they have, but I think that would be something that's probably coming with the sleeper cab.
Yeah.
Speaking of virtual power plants, I just got a text that they will be dispatching 3 kilowatt hours for 3 hours on the 30th. I'm not sure why, but they're
on the 30th. So it's that far in advance. Over 2 weeks in the future, they know that they are going to use some of the power.
Right. So it might be that they have new software and they want to test some feature, or
maybe they're doing maintenance.
Right. Yeah. I'm not sure. They could have scheduled maintenance. There's lots of reasons it could be. But that was I just got that text.
Very cool. Very cool.
So Derek says maybe there more semis being wrapped as we speak. Absolutely. He also says, so would a wrap have a base paint job? Except for the CyberTruck? Yes. Yes, it will.
That makes sense. Just to coat things and keep them from getting exposed and
you wouldn't want
water and rust
to get a nick in the wrap and then all of a sudden the whole truck rusts.
Yeah, exactly.
Underneath the wrap, Why is this wrap bubbly? Oh, look. My finger's gone.
I poked a hole right through this wrap.
Interesting. Yes. Well, that about wraps it up. If you've been watching, please give us the thumbs up at this point. Press the subscribe if you haven't done it. That helps us out. You can follow us through the week on our Twitter feed. That's at the Tesla Life, or on our Facebook feed. That is the Tesla Life #1. And we thank Patrick for narrating the Facebook feed. And of course, we're thanking Casey for these live connections that we do on the YouTube. We appreciate that. And we're thanking Casey's daughter for not taking control of the entire show. Man, she is getting a lot of attention today.
She is.
She's got Casey by the wire.
Right. And Wiggle Central over here, too.
She's getting a workout.
Yeah. Maybe she'll sleep.
With that, Patrick, any parting words tonight?
Sure. I'm going to give a shout out to the Green Living Journal. So my friend Gary edits this, and it's free. Check it out. The Green Living Journal, and they're online and hard copy. It's got one of the cool things in here, like they're advertising a fix-it fair. So if you have stuff and it's broken, then you can go to this place where there are a bunch of tinkerers, and maybe they can fix it for you, because that's better. That's better than putting it in the landfill. Even better than recycling.
Yes.
Yeah. So reuse is the first one, and that's why that one's first. So
we should have another one.
Anyway,
repair or mend.
Right. Yes. Yeah. The repair is a good one. So also my normal plugs. I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org, and I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net. Check it out. Thanks.
Very good. Very good. Casey and Baby, what have you got for us for shout-outs this week?
So on Sundays, you can catch us at youtube.com/CaseyGreen, where we do a variable length show about what's going on in the world of green living and Teslas and EVs and non-Teslas, and it's always a blast. As well as I finally shot 3 new videos. I only meant to shoot 2, but another one of them weird Carolina SWAT trucks went by, and I snagged the photo. So I've recorded these videos, and as soon as things calm down at work, or maybe Saturday, what I'll do is I'll mend at least one of them into a viewable video, and then you can catch that same place, youtube.com @Casey Green.
Fantastic. Well, thank you everyone for watching this evening. Have yourselves a great evening or week. And next week we'll get together, and together we'll find out what is happening in the Tesla life.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Lee Moon.
Stay positive. Test negative.
Oh, she's wiggling. I can't end it smoothly. Well, I could, but I don't, want to take a trip to the baby ER. So here we go.